We're just waiting until we go live, and we are live. Welcome, it's Dan Latto speaking. This is a Property Cashflow Show, and today I'm going to talk to you about what to do when stuff's just not working. Basically, what do you do when you've done everything and you've still not got the result that you actually want? And this is not just related to property. I mean, it's related to everything. It's related to dating, weight loss, finding friends, anything, business, sales, marketing, negotiation. Back to Brexit already. What do you do when you've done everything? And so there's a couple of things really that I've done when I found that stuff's not working for me. So let's just cover off a couple of those straight away. So the first thing, if stuff's not working, is you've got to go back to the drawing board and just get absolutely focused on really what it is that you want. So let's take an example and then let's break it down into small bite-sized chunks because you'll find that a bit easier. So let's just say that, okay, let's take a marketing one. Let's say that you've dropped 50,000 leaflets and you're in property sourcing and you're not getting many replies, or the replies that you're getting are not very good. Well, there's a couple of angles here that you can look at that are going to be beneficial for you to look at. So one of them is, what's the nature of your leaflet? But even before you get to the leaflet, let's just take a step back, even further back from that. What's the type of lead that you want? Who is the person that you want to pick up the phone? Who is that going to be? How old are they? What are they called? Where do they live? What interests have they got? What problems have they got? So if you're dropping leaflets, for example, on property sourcing, and you've got a type of person who's in their mid-50s, they've just been made redundant, they've got a problem with paying their mortgage. Okay, now we understand the type of person that we're looking for. We call that an avatar, by the way. Knowing the type of person that you're looking for is really, really important. Now we know the avatar, that should tell us the type of leaflet that we're going to create in order to drop door to door. So, and even by the way, let's get a different type of avatar. Let's say our avatar, and it's not in property sourcing, but let's say it's young executive men between the ages of 25 and 35, and let's say it's a dating product. Leaflet drops definitely won't work there. What if you're selling a dating product? What would be the type of marketing for you to do there? Well, knowing what your avatar actually is will help you determine what the type of marketing is that you want to distribute. So let's just go back to property second. So 55, male, just lost the job, and struggling to pay their mortgage. The leaflet should reflect that type of avatar. And you could say, well, Dan, actually, I've got that type of avatar, and then I've got someone who's going, they're in the 30s and we're going to Australia for 10 years, but they don't want to sell. Great. That's a different type of leaflet that you've got to produce. And this is the bit that people get wrong, is that they don't create different leaflets based on different avatars. They just create one thing and send it out and then wonder why it's not targeted at anybody in particular, and then they wonder why they're not getting any results off that. And that's not going to work for you. You've got to start what's the word? Not marketing. You've got to start tying up the type of person that you're selling to with the type of marketing that you're creating. But if you're putting out all of this content and you're putting out all of these adverts and it's still not working, and we had this with a client, it took them 3 or 4 months. They were dropping thousands of leaflets and they couldn't make it work. And then suddenly they had this switch, and they switched what was going on in their mindset, and then suddenly the leads started to come. And then when they got one lead, it built their confidence levels up. And it's ridiculous as this sounds, but if you're going through life and going, well, I'm going to create this leaflet, but it's probably not going to work. So, well, I'll do it anyway because that's what I've been told to do. Guess what? That leaflet isn't working. Okay. So as soon as you switch that mindset, well, okay, I'm going to make this leaflet work. This leaflet is definitely going to work. The whole attitude on the way that you create the leaflet, design the leaflet, print the leaflet, organize leaflet droppers, hand the leaflets to the leaflet droppers, say some positive words of influence to the leaflet droppers, pay them on the same day and be nice to them and drop them off at the Greg's or whatever, invite them a donut for their time, or a sausage roll which costs you 80p, but for them, like people dropping leaflets haven't got a lot of money, so it could be the first time they've eaten that day, whatever, right? That whole attitude changes everything. And you can say, well, hang on a minute, I placed an advert on Gumtree and my attitude in copying the text from the property sourcing training that you give and then pasting it on Gumtree, how is my attitude going to change? I have no idea how that works, by the way. All I know is it does. Right? I don't believe in law of attraction. I think it's a particular activation system. I'm not a particular religious person. I say particularly, I'm not a religious person in the slightest. I'm very scientifically based, but I know that when my attitude is different, my results are different. And so if you're going through and you're doing everything you possibly can, there's one thing that needs to change, and it's this attitude. We did a podcast on my desk. I've got a bottle of sauvage or sausage, as I like to call it. And we did a podcast based around whenever something good happens, you spray it and you sniff it, and having gustatory anchors to put you into a good mood, so that when you need to do that work or get on a sales call, you sniff the positive gustatory result that you had in the past, and that anchors your mind into another positive result. And you might be like, this is all hocus pocus mumbo jumbo, and I agree, but it works. And it's crazy, but it absolutely works. Now, this is all the hypnosis and all the NLP stuff. I know the hypnosis thing's kind of coming back around again, and people are going, wow, we can use this for like operations. And yeah, they used to do that 100 years ago, but before anesthesia was invented, they used hypnosis, for crying out loud, to chop someone's leg off. All this stuff works, and the way that you go into a situation, your mindset will determine the results of that situation. Now, don't get me wrong on this. If you're going into a lose situation, having a positive mindset, that's not going to make you win that situation. All it's going to do is it's going to help you improve the probability of you having a better conversation. That's what it's going to do. I forgot to put one of my banners up. I'm dreadful with this. Let's put a banner up there. Daniel Latto, Mastermind Group, welcome. So it's not just about, well, I've got these 50,000 leaflets, I'm not getting the results. It's not just that the leaflet isn't the best leaflet because you weren't in the best mood when you were designing it. And think about this, if I could go back and start again, if there's one skill that I would really work on, if I went back 27 years to being 20 years old, it would be copy. Writing copy, sales copy, headlines. I'm a hypocrite, by the way. So just to absolutely 100% hypocritical here. I still don't read books on copy, although I've just got one delivered to the UK and I'm flying into the UK tomorrow, and I'll have that on Friday as it happens, about copywriting. I have read a lot of books on copy, but I don't read enough, okay? But if I was to go back, think about this. When you're writing a leaflet, if your head isn't in the game, your copy's not in the game. And if your copy's not in the game and you're dropping 50,000 leaflets with copy that isn't the best copy, that you've not spent enough time on it. We did a podcast interview with, I forgot the chap's name, but I'll tell you a funny story about him in a minute. We did an interview and it was with a copywriter, and he literally spends a whole day or 2 days or 3 days writing one page of copy. Because if this is an advert that's going out on Facebook, and it's the copy absolutely has to be excellent. So we went to this guy's birthday party, Matthew Moody, who's a Facebook friend of mine, kind of, but we've met up a couple of times. Really nice guy. He does HMOs and has got some very good training on HMOs and that kind of thing. Anyway, it was his birthday and we got an invite to his birthday, so we went along. And Matthew Moody plays in a band and he loves his band and he loves his music, and that's really cool. But we went to his party and I can't remember who the copywriter is now, so I apologize. Marcus, I think it was. Anyway, so we go to Matthew's birthday party and he's got a DJ on and that kind of thing. So we get Matthew to go get one of his CDs. Oh, you've got a CD? Oh, let's have a look. So we get him to go out to his car and he gets his CD. And then I forgot the guy's name. He's going to kill me afterwards. Anyway, we got the DJ to go play one of his songs. And of course, the song, it's like country music. And so it was completely wrong for the party. And he was so embarrassed. But I thought it was hilarious. Obviously, half a pint and that's damn done for the night. Anyway, I thought it was very funny. But copy right there. There's a story that I just told you about. But you're like, now I've told you we've got a funny story. Now you want to listen to the story. You probably found it not that funny as I did because I was on half a pint and therefore drunk. Lightweight these days. And this was 5 years ago, so I'm less of a lightweight now. So more of a lightweight now, I should say. But that right there is a story that got people engaged, right? Now that's good copy. Compare that to not telling that story. There's no copy there. If I just told a brief story without getting excited and without laughing about it and so on, it's not great copy. And so the difference, for example, if you're in a bad mood and stuff's not working for you, you've got to change that attitude, because if you can change the attitude and change the copy, your results going forward through time as these leaflets are being dropped will be better than I'm in a bad mood and my copy's crap, but screw it, I don't care, I'm just going to just print the damn things, whatever. That decision right there is going to send you off either into a positive solution or a not positive solution, okay? It's either going to increase the probability of getting results, or it's going to decrease the probability of getting results. This is the bit that I need you to understand. And this is the bit that explains the difference between, so, you know, for example, I know of a lady, I call her a lady very, very loosely. She runs a property forum. And she says things like, well, I've been in property 20 years and I'm not retired. Because you're doing it wrong, love. That's why you're not retired. And probably your attitude is trying to catch people out, and you disagree with coaching and all that kind of thing. I know you do, because I've seen it. And that's your reality. That is how you see the world. And that's fine. If that's the reality that you want, that's fine. But that's not my reality. Because my reality is made up of much more positive and optimistic kind of results. And that's why I go out and get those results. And again, don't get me wrong, it's not law of attraction, and I'm not into this idea of going into a bad situation, just being positive will get a positive result, because we know that doesn't happen. But what it does do is it increases the probability of you getting that result. Probabilities is what this is about. So I've got a glass on my desk. If I drop the glass on the floor, which I'm not going to do, what's the probability of it smashing and falling to 1,000 pieces? Pretty high, okay? But if I just left it on my desk, I've reduced the probability of smashing that glass. So why don't I put the glass where the glass needs to go? Why don't I put myself into a position where I can control that glass, instead of putting it near the edge where it could fall off and I could hit it with my elbow and it's smashing? Why not actually put it into a safe place? And it's just exactly the same for you. Why not put yourself into that safe place? Mentally put yourself into that safe place. I was having a couple of conversations, a conversation with somebody a couple of days ago, and we were talking about safe places. And one of my safe places actually is my spreadsheet that I do to run my budgets, because I love looking at the spreadsheet and then cash flow forecasting into the future. And then I can look at, okay, what investments do I want to make? This bit of money, where do I want to put that bit of money? And it's a nice, happy place for me, because I can be the one to determine where the money goes, as can you, by the way. And any monies that I want to pay off into an investment, I can make that decision. Am I buying property here in Spain? Am I buying property in the UK? You know, the student flats in Bradford for 50 grand. To buy myself a couple of them for cash? Or am I buying into FTSE 100 dividend type payments? Or am I buying into some insurance? So if I pop my clogs, if I die in the next couple of years, my partner still gets paid money that's set up in a trust that's outside of all property. So even if I die and all the property stuff disappears, it's like I want to put myself into a safe place where I can be positive and increase the probability about the results that I want. Most people don't live there. Most people wake up and they live in the environment that the world has given them. And so think about this. Let me get a blank sheet of paper. One of the environments that you could live on is in this blank sheet of paper, and you can turn it into a dream state. What would life be like if, I'm going to write down, in 5 years' time, I will have, let's say, £20,000 a month, and let's say, whatever body fat, 8% body fat, and you'll be a cover model on Men's Health, and you'll have a charity that pays £2,000 a month towards homeless people in whatever city you're in, whatever that happens to be. This could be your safe place, okay? And whenever you're feeling down and the world is against you and you've not sniffed your aftershave yet, then you could go back to this and you can see what is the person that I want to be? Who is it? What does that look like? What does that person control? What are they going to look after and manage? And so now you've taken control out of the rest of the world and you put it into you so that you can actually start to create your own safe place. So if stuff isn't working, having this list written down and having a reminder as to why you're on this journey. So like, one of the things that wealthy people have, by the way, is they have insurance in place. Okay. Now, I'm not a big believer in insurance. Like, for example, none of my white goods are insured, because by the time I've paid out for the insurance each month on white goods across my portfolio, I could buy a new white good once or twice a month anyway. And I don't have white goods failing every month. So it doesn't make sense that way for me to do it in that way. And also, by the way, I buy second-hand white goods with 6 months warranty. Now, this is what you find. If a white good's going to fail at second-hand, it fails in the first 90 days anyway. If not, it keeps on going for the next 5 years. So it's fine. So, and that's much cheaper. It's about 40% cheaper than buying brand new all the time. So over a period of time, it helps me do it. It's also why I don't take bonds on properties anymore, because I can put the rent up, and the increase in rent means I get to keep it. And whereas if I had bonds, I'd have to give the bond back. Which is what we want, of course, unless the tenant's damaged it. But it increases probability over a period of time that my income goes up. That's why we do it. Everything in life is about probabilities. And so, like, that could be displayed. You're going to love this as a diagram. I'm going to show you. This is where you want to be heading to, right there. This is where most people are right now, and they have no idea what they want because they've got no focus. This is where we want to be. This is the focus. Right at the top. So if you're listening to the podcast right now, this is a triangle facing upwards, and I want to be at the top of that triangle, call it a pyramid, whereas the people at the bottom haven't got a clue. They've not developed an environment that's conducive and positive for them to increase their probabilities of getting the right result. And so when we go back to this idea of, well, I'm doing everything I can and it's still not working, all you've done is you've changed the probabilities, and you can change them more. So when we go full circle on this conversation, and we talk about, well, what frame of mind were you in when you were writing the copy? I want you to be in the best frame of mind, in an optimistic and a positive frame of mind, to write the best copy you could ever write, okay? So that when you then drop those leaflets for the next 12 months, you've increased your probability of getting a result. Now, by the way, you might only increase that 5%, and you increase your phone calls by 5%. You know, you train up the call answering service, and that increases 5%. And then when the call answering service comes to you and say, we've got a lead, and you phone up that lead and increase that by 5%. And by the way, it's not 5% added up. So if you get 20 different things that you've improved at 5% each, it's not 100%. 20 times 5 is 100. It's not 100%, because it's 5% times, it's not necessarily times 5%, but it's like a, what do we call it, where it's a logarithmic scale. It increases. So it's like compounds. That's the word I'm looking for. It's 5% compounded all the way through. So you end up with 150% better returns, even though you're only getting 5% on this and 5% on that. I hope that makes sense. I'm not explaining it brilliantly, but I hope it makes sense. And all this comes back to is your attitude when you are moving forward through life. And when you're dealing with obstacles, what's the attitude around the obstacle? Well, I knew this would happen. It always happens to me. And by the way, I've said those things too. I completely 100% said these things too. I've said those things this year, and we're having an amazing year, and I still say those things, God damn it. So if we're having a good year and we still say those things, what do you think people are having a crap year are saying to themselves as well? You're not worthy, you're not good enough, you're never going to be good enough, you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of junk, I told you this was going to happen, you're useless, why does this always happen to me? All these negative things. I totally get it, been there. But even we're saying this year, oh, I knew this would happen. It's crazy. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So your idea here is about increasing probabilities. And the way that you increase probabilities is by attitude. So in this last week, my fasting has been off. I've just eaten so much junk food. I had a 5-year-old's birthday party, ate loads of food there. We went to Valencia on the Saturday. We went to Hard Rock Cafe and had all these nachos, and then we bought donuts, and honestly, just totally ruined my fasting protocol. And this week I'm back on it. But then I'm flying into Birmingham tomorrow because we've got Comic Con this weekend, and we've got the NA National Achievers Congress next week. So my attitude right now on food is also negative. It's not brilliant at all. So it's like, okay, all it takes is for me to sit back and go, okay, Dan, what do you want your attitude to be? So actually for the last couple of days, my fasting protocol has vastly improved because I'm back on it again. And you know what? it's fine to fall off the wagon, just as it's fine to fall off the wagon mentally. It's fine to fall off the wagon with your marketing. But I've done it all, it's still not working. The difference in getting the results is based on your ability to change how you feel about yourself and about the journey that you're on. And so sometimes, and I say this, it's about you turning into a robot where you go, well, I've got to create these leaflets, but I don't really want to create these leaflets. And what's the point anyway? Because these are the things we say to ourselves. And you go, do you know what? Create the leaflet. And whilst I'm not in the best of moods right now, let's say, I'm going to create the leaflet. And then when I'm feeling much better and I've written my goals and I've listened to some good music and I'm in a much more positive and optimistic state of mind, I'm going to go back to the copy and I'm going to redo it. But I've got the basics down. I can't remember who it was. Write while drunk and edit while sober. Get everything down, just get it down, but you have to go back in and edit it while you're in this positive frame of mind. And this is the same on everything. If you're having relationship difficulties right now, maybe when you're angry and feeling bad is not the actual time to discuss those. But when you're writing down what you want to achieve in life and your partner writes down what they want to achieve in life, and you find that actually with some of those match, then you can talk about those. And those that don't match, like you can maybe talk about them or wait until next time, or maybe deal with one of those items that doesn't match for next time. So talk about everything that does match. You know, there's 5 or 6 things that match as a couple, and then the one individual item, one person goes on one day, the other person goes on another day. So it's just one little thing. So there's all these different ways that you can utilize to improve the way that you think. But I need you to understand this, because this diagram of the triangle that's now pointing to one side, the thing part here is where you are today. So that is now. Okay, and the arrow of time goes this way. So if this is now, okay, and the arrow of time, so what you want to do is you want to decide on what you want, which is here, by the way, decide on what you want. And then when you're here, you need to do everything that you need to do in order to get yourself there. You know what the outcome is that you want. So let's say you're 20 stone and your ideal weight is 4 stone. I don't know what that is in pounds. I can't do the maths. Let's say you're 100 kilos and you want to drop to 75 kilos. Great. Now you know, okay, if I can lose a kilo a month, 25 months or 2 years, perfect. How do I drop a kilo a month? So now you know what you want and you're working out backwards. Does that mean you're going to fall off a wagon every so often? Of course it blooming well does. I fall off a wagon on my diet more times than not. But when I look at I was going to say the growth, but it's not really growth. But when I look at the weight loss over a period of time, there's only one direction it's going in. And by the way, it does go up and it does go down. It's like financial freedom. It goes up and down. It's like having net worth. That goes up and down. But as long as it's going in the right direction over a period of time, then you're going to get the results that you want. So I'm 75 kilos now. And I was 75 kilos last week. I'm just looking now. I was 76 kilos on the 20th of last month. So that's literally, 24 days ago. It's the 13th today of November. And the week before that, I was 75 and a half. But then, literally 6 weeks ago, I was 77.5. So I'm still it's going in the right direction. And it's going to go up, it's going to go down, and I'm going to fall off the wagon. And all of that is totally fine. It's about getting back on the wagon and about continuing to stay on the wagon until you've reached the destination. That is it. Unsuccessful people give up when it either gets too hard or until they fail. Successful people keep going until they get the results that they demand. And I demand these results of myself. Do you think, though, that I'm going to have failure at some point? Absolutely. Do you think? I mean, it happened. I added 8 kilos in a 6-month period. Imagine if I'd have done what I've done in the last 3 months before I added on those 8 kilos. I'd be like Mr. Slim with Mr. Six-Pack abs. But not, I didn't do that. I fell off the wagon. We had some emotional stuff going on. We fell off the wagon. That's totally fine. Get yourself back on the wagon. Get yourself into a place of safety, whatever that is for you, and then start increasing the probabilities that's going to get you to where the results are that you absolutely need. I hope that's useful for you. We'll catch up with you on probably not Friday, actually, because I've got a one-day event for all my clients in Birmingham, which people are coming up to. Not all my clients actually, but about 10 of them are coming up. So that's really cool. So probably not on Friday. So Monday we'll be live back in the group. Other than that, hope yourself have a great week and a great weekend, and we'll speak to you next week. My name's Dan Latter. Take care.